I'm Whitney Ward. We begin tonight with some developing news. Spokane police have now arrested a man they believe is behind a string of shootings in North Spokane, including one that severely injured a woman inside her home. The suspect was arrested last night at a West Central apartment. KREM 2's Amanda Rowley is joining us now live from the studio with the latest details. Amanda?
Yeah, Whitney, Spokane police say last night officers surrounded an apartment where they believed Gregory Lynch was. They spent more than 3 hours getting him to surrender. Now, according to investigators, Lynch is responsible for firing more than 40 rounds after the course of 2 days at homes and cars, and they also believe his shooting spree gravely injured a woman in her home. Lynch now faces 4 counts of drive-by shooting, assault, and unlawful possession of a firearm. Now, after his arrest, court documents say Lynch denied his involvement in the shooting, but he later admitted he fired a pistol from his vehicle while being fired upon. Now, Lieutenant Rob Booth says the arrest was possible through the collaboration with multiple law enforcement entities, including the Safe Streets Task Force and members of the new Violent Crimes Task Force.
When things like this happen and we can get our resources together and accomplish that mission in a relatively short period of time, that's a fantastic win for the community.
Now, police say Lynch has 3 prior felony convictions from 2019 for third-degree assault. That means he is not allowed to possess any firearms. In his first appearance today, the judge set his bond at $1 million. Now, court documents also confirm the woman who was shot Monday night is now paralyzed. I'll be sharing more details on what led up to that shooting tonight at 5. Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
All right, Amanda, thank you very much. We also do want to let you know a GoFundMe has been set up for that victim. And according to the Post, that money will be used to help the woman's family pay for hospital expenses, as well as for the care of her 5-month-old baby girl. You can find that link to the GoFundMe in our story on KREM.com. All right, let's switch gears as we talk about the other top story for this day, and that is, of course, how rainy and gray it is. Just such a stark difference from even what we saw 24 hours ago. Jeremy is on his way out there right now. He grabbed the umbrella, and there he is. And boy, you need
the umbrella.
Yeah, I like it.
I had to run back for it, and so I was sprinting down the hallway, and everybody's going, "You're supposed to be on TV."
Good hustle.
Oh, so I'm a bit out of breath. But yes, Whitney, I was listening while I was running, and it is rainy, hence the umbrella. We have temperatures hanging out in the 40s here in Spokane, but take a look at Silver Mountain, still covered in quite a bit of snow. To me, that's pretty great. 49 in Coeur d'Alene, 52 in Sandpoint, 56 in Moses Lake, and 59 in Wenatchee. Just earlier today, somebody emailed in and said, "Drought, your meteorologist is full of it." Just because we've seen rain doesn't mean we're out of the drought. And in fact, most locations in eastern Washington still about an inch behind in terms of rainfall so far this year. So any bit we can get is good news. That rain continues a bit longer for us, tapers off this evening. We catch a break early tomorrow, but by tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening, we'll see our next round of scattered showers move through. That takes us into the weekend. So yes, we are kind of in it. That also comes with some wind. We'll see wind pick up as well. I'll be fighting it later on with wind gusts up near 25 miles per hour. As temperatures stay pretty mild headed into the rest of the night. Looks like we stay into the 50s till about midnight and then start falling into the 40s tomorrow morning.
All right, Jeremy, thank you. Well, today is National Day of Awareness for Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women. Washington State has one of the highest rates in the entire country of Indigenous people going missing or being murdered. KREM 2's Cody Proctor is joining us now live from Northern Quest with more. Cody?
Well, Whitney, as you can see behind me is one part of the display for what was happening today. And up above me are dresses, each one representing a missing or murdered Indigenous woman from Washington State. They are part of a display by the Kalispel Tribe of Indians and by Northern Quest as well for a National Day of Awareness for Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women. Now, to give you an idea, the day is part of a movement drawing attention to violence against Indigenous people, especially women and children. Washington State has the second highest rate in the country of Indigenous people going missing or being murdered, according to the Urban Indian Health Institute. Earlier this year, the Washington State Legislature passed House Bill 1725, creating an alert system for missing Indigenous people. Governor Jay Inslee signed that on back in March.
I think we're in a good spot right now. We've got a lot of momentum and a lot of people jumping on board to finally keep acting and find our people.
Now, there will also be an art showcase for National Awareness Day of Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women for tonight. That does kick off at 5 o'clock. It's set to last until about 7 tonight. But again, you can see those dresses that were behind me, including a custom-made one made by a Kalispell elder, Stephanie Stoops. We'll be hearing more from her tonight at 5 o'clock. Reporting in Airway Heights, Cody Proctor, KREM 2 News.
All right. Thank you very much, Cody. Well, WSU is currently the only major public research university on the West Coast that does not have a union for student employees. But one group of students in Pullman now looking to change that. 1,600 WSU students from 4 different campuses have now filed to form a union. They just did that yesterday. The students say they're seeking to be recognized as a new bargaining unit. Idaho Governor Brad Little was in Coeur d'Alene this morning announcing new funding to help keep Lake Coeur d'Alene healthy. The Idaho Department of Environmental Quality is working to improve the water quality in the lake. Last year, the state gave the department $2 million for the project, and this year, Governor Little says the state will give him $80 million. Little also says the money will help reduce the amount of potentially harmful nutrients going into the lake.
Everybody knows how important this lake is to the community and to the state, and it's also important to the people downstream, and our prosperity in this state is heavily dependent upon this body of water.
Now, the state also plans to give another $20 million to the project over the next few years. After visiting Coeur d'Alene, Governor Little then went on to Kellogg. Spokane City Council member Jonathan Bingle has now filed an ethics complaint against the Continuum of Care Board chair, Ben Stuckert. He's alleging Stuckert violated ethics rules through, quote, improper actions in the shelter process. Now, according to the city, the complaint states that Stuckert, who is listed as a project manager for Jules Helping Hands, participated in a committee meeting to recommend someone to operate a new homeless shelter. And although he did recuse himself from the actual vote, the complaint states that his participation in the discussions violated the Continuum Care Board's conflict of interest policy.
After a thorough review, and I believe very strongly that they'll find that he was in violation of his code of ethics, then that the city would get to see that the taxpayers almost had some money very badly spent.
Nobody knew the fine details. The 30 different people in the meeting didn't have any concerns with my actions at all during the process. So I just find it political grandstanding at this point.
In a press release, the city says the Washington state auditor reported Stuckert may have violated conflict of interest ordinances when he allegedly helped steer a contract to Jules Helping Hands back in 2021. In this latest case, Stuckert reiterates that he did recuse himself from voting and insists he did nothing wrong. Today marks 7 years since the death of Coeur d'Alene Police Sergeant Greg Moore. Sergeant Moore was on patrol in a neighborhood when he was shot and killed by an armed suspect. He left behind a wife, 2 children, and many police officers who were also friends. Fellow officers told KREM 2 Moore was a dedicated police officer who lived his life as a loyal public servant. Following his death, several fundraisers were held in the community. People also started putting blue lights out on their porches, starting with the night he died, and K27 stickers and decals on their cars to represent his dispatch call sign. And now, 7 years later, you can still find those decals on cars all across the inland Northwest. Well, we have some good news for Spokane's Lexi Hull. Today, she has officially made the Fever's 12-woman roster. Even though Hull was a top 10 pick in the draft, it's never a guarantee for rookies to make an actual WNBA roster. Now, Hull was one of 5 rookies to make a Fever roster that is right now in the midst of a rebuild, as the team hasn't made the WNBA playoffs since 2016. Hull went to Central Valley High School. She won 2 state championships during her time there. Coming up next year on Crime 2 News at 4, a plot of land in North Idaho could soon become home to more than 4,000 houses and apartments. Many residents, though, who already live there, they're fighting back. We'll have more on that when we come back. And also coming up tonight at 4:30, protests are breaking out across the country as millions of women await a decision from the Supreme Court about Roe v. Wade. We've got the latest from Washington when we come back.